Hello everyone, this is Babamot. Welcome to another Homeworlds commentary. This game is between Stevie Sasquatchy and John Cooper. John Cooper, of course, is the inventor of the game of Homeworlds, to which we are forever indebted. All hail. Uh, John is a game design genius, though they have somewhat less success at actually playing Homeworlds than they did at designing it. Stevie is a cunning and wily adversary. I fear a little for John here. If I had to place a bet, I would bet on Stevie, but I also like to be surprised. All right, let's see what happens. Stevie goes first. Stevie picks a green-yellow large Gemini system with a blue ship. That's quite unusual. Um, don't recall having seen one of these recently. I generally don't like green stars. Uh, we'll see how that affects things. All right, Cooper takes a more typical blue-yellow Goldilocks. Stevie builds, John builds. Stevie builds again, since John picked a blue star, a small star in the same color as Stevie's first ship, and Stevie went first. The small blues are already gone. So John may have a little trouble getting into the blue economy right off the bat here. And since this is a small universe, Stevie, as soon as they move any blues to, they could move them to a medium yellow system where they'd immediately be threatening to overpopulate John if they try to trade their large for a blue. So on turn number one, John put themselves in a lot of trouble. Let's see if they find a way to recover. John picks green. Stevie goes for an early red, trading the large. This is pretty unusual, trading the large ship for red rather than one of the smaller ones. If they traded a small ship for red, then that could have given John a chance to get into the blues more easily. John also takes a red, feeling a little nervous perhaps. Stevie gets a blue medium ship already without even having to leave their home. John now takes green. It's going to be a little slower for John to work into the mediums here. Stevie takes, trades for medium yellow. Okay. So with a medium yellow in hand, Stevie has their ships within striking distance of John's home. So John has got to be really careful here. John discovers a medium blue star. That's going to put the larges even closer to being in reach for Stevie as they keep building blue. But of course, John's got to get to a blue. They need to get a medium ship to a blue system before too long, because otherwise Stevie's going to exhaust all of these medium blues. In fact, I think it's already too late. All right, Stevie, John builds green. Stevie trades for R2. So Stevie's sort of milking this opportunity they have to build mediums early. They're not spreading out to try to get into the larges. They're just taking all the mediums they can get. Honestly, I think I would have built this G2 at home, because if John trades this blue, trades this medium for a blue, Stevie can move a blue into that colony, threatening to send it supernova, and then Stevie will have a big material advantage. John, I think, might have been better off building this G2 at home so they could trade for the G2. Stevie could still send a blue into John's home, but they could capture it, and John is sitting comfortably with a couple of blues rather than in danger of having them blown up in the colony. I guess the downside of building that G2 at home would have been that Stevie could invade the colony and start capturing the greens. Yeah, Stevie builds the G2, the B2. John trades for red. Oh, I expected him to trade for blue. Even though Stevie could move in for the potential overpopulation. But that's a better defended colony now. Maybe John will find a way to just ignore, to just keep Stevie from ever getting large blues. Doesn't seem very likely. Stevie, yeah, spreads out their blues, and so they'll get larges before too long here, I expect. John builds a little red. Stevie keeps building medium blues. They're going to get large next time. John sacrifices the green for 3 builds. Okay, that's good. Keeping the greens out of Stevie's reach anyway. Stevie gets the first extra additional large of the game. John now, they could trade that G3 for, say, R3 and then continue to build larges. Yeah, or, oh, trade for medium. Ooh, I would have made that a large. I think I would have traded the G3 for Y3 instead. Maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, Stevie gets another large ship. John sacrifices the Y2 to move in 2 reds for the overpopulation. Even though that's a small material gain, well, a moderate material gain, Stevie, the real problem is that Stevie can build these blues endlessly. I don't think that was John's best option. And Stevie can just trade for red again. Yeah, and keep building large blues. John trades for more yellow. Stevie builds more blue. John... They move a green into that colony, which looks pretty good. Stevie can only capture it with the R3 sacrifice, but honestly, I think Stevie can afford to sacrifice a large red more than John can afford to lose the green. Sacrificing the Y2 to send 2 blues into John's home. How interesting. So these blues are not threatening to win. They're not even threatening to build and overpopulate John's blue star. Stevie doesn't have any yellow to bring in another blue, but Stevie is threatening to... Well, there's probably something clever he could do to trade for some color and cause problems. But the main thing I'm seeing is, honestly, this Stevie can sacrifice the R3 to capture John's only red. And that's an irritating thing to do. John takes one of them. Stevie sacrifices to take them both back. Oh, and that little green. I had forgotten that was even there. So yeah, so they got full use out of their R3 sacrifice. John, I guess, can build some more. Sacrifice Y2 to move a couple of greens into Stevie's home. Okay. Stevie sacrifices green, maybe? Or they trade for... just builds a B2. Yep, plenty of blue still to build here. John can build... I really expected them to build and destroy one of Stevie's stars. But destroying this colony would be a lot more valuable. Let's see what Stevie does. They sacrifice the B3. Oh, yep, to trade. Oh, they didn't... Oh, okay, so they traded a green to put a small green back in the bank. But then they only had 2 trade actions left, so they traded the 2 mediums to match John's home star, but they couldn't they didn't have a fourth trade action to trade this R1 for a G1, so they didn't quite win. But John's position is pretty absurd, and they resign. Okay, well, the lesson here is, honestly, you can lose this game on your first turn, especially if you're going second. You can lose on your first turn if you're going first as well by, for example, taking nothing but reds in your homeworld. But this game was decided the moment that John decided to have a small blue star versus Stevie, who went first and had a large blue ship. When it was a small universe, that just compounded the problem. There's somebody who's kind of famous for saying that if you can't lose on your first turn, then there's no point in a game having a first turn. You should just change the setup conditions. Well, in Homeworlds, you can lose on your first turn. Very sorry, John. Valiant effort to hold that back, but the first turn was a problem. And well done to Stevie for beating the inventor of Homeworlds. Thanks for watching.